Oh, there's no theme music.
Just go ahead.
Oh, welcome back to Ask a Theorist.
Or two.
This is the 6 o'clock news with Daniel Reed. Compelling question from a listener. He says, you mentioned that A is 435 hertz in Europe and 450 hertz in the United States. Does this entail some kind of metric conversion, or does an A sound different across the pond, he asks. We have another question from Andy. He says that the Brits over there in Europe call 2 minim beats, and we have crotchet beats and quaver beats. Why do they use this terminology when we don't? Very pressing indeed. And so, we're going to go over to our correspondent in the field, Ken. Ken, are you there? Ken, are you there?
Yes, I am in the field, of course.
Excellent.
Yes.
And Ken, I believe that you are our leading expert in all things British.
Well,
Is this
I
correct?
do know a thing or two about metric conversion. Yes, I suppose that.
Well, then tell us a little bit about just why there's this difference between English and American.
Yes. Well, as you know, there was a Revolutionary War, and the main cause of that war was actually the metric conversion. Things were so confusing among the colonies from the English that few people know that's the real cause of the war.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that while in America we have things like the quarter and the quarter note,
Yes.
in
Correct.
England,
Yes.
they actually call those quarter notes
A crotchet, which is awkward, I suppose.
and the
And the eighth note's a quaver, and you have a semi-quaver, which at least makes sense. But other than that, the monetary system is shillings and farthings and pounds, which are abbreviated LB, and it's all so confusing that between the music and the money, they are completely nonsensical. At least it makes sense to have a penny and a nickel and a dime and a quarter and a dollar, because a quarter is, of course, a quarter of a dollar. And the Revolutionary War was fought and people gave their lives, as Patrick Henry said, give me 440 hertz or give me death.
Indeed. So what you're saying is, if this were 3 feet,
3 feet, yes. Yes.
and this were a meter,
yes.
they would never quite
line up, just like 435 versus 440. Right. The yard, the meter, the quaver, the quarter note, it's all just a confusing mess. You can't begin to predict one from the other. Yes.
Indeed. Now,
Yes,
wait just a
indeed.
second. I mean, while their monetary system is a little kooky, don't get me wrong, it is. Don't they measure things by meters and centimeters, millimeters, kilometers?
Well, of course, the problem with a kilometer is no one knows exactly how far a kilometer is. It's a good number of millimeters, but beyond that, it's impossible to actually estimate. Where all of us know how big a yard is and how big an inch is, and therefore how long a mile is. It simply makes sense. The American system is far superior to the metric system, and that's why
real
we
quick,
never
we need to
converted
cut over to some commercials and some other important things. If a bear was playing 450 hertz in the woods, would anyone care?
Ironically, we've done some field research, and here in the field, we, as you can see, have found a bear. In fact, there are 2 bears, and they are both tuning a cello to 450. They are now about to play their cello, and we will hear the results right now. And actually, that's Bigfoot and his little brother.
Yes. You better get out of there.
Cheerio.
Well, tune in next week to hear the sympathetic vibrations of what E-flat does to a monkey's brain. This has been Ask a Theorist.
Or two.